Good morning, Thrashers, and welcome to another episode of the Block Thrasher Daily Crypto Update, where we are simplifying cryptocurrency by shattering the complexities, bringing you news, commentary, analysis, and education. Listen, guys, we are in a recovery. It is a beautiful Monday, April the 26th. What a great way to start the week. Usually, when we are in a little bit of a downturn, Mondays can be rough. Very rough, but not today. No, sir, not at all. This is fantastic. I hope you're feeling pumped up. Listen, this is going to be a good week. Let's just go out there and kill it this week. Whatever you got going on in your life, whatever it is that you're doing, just remember, go out and do everything you possibly can to help people. That is the number one way. I was talking with a friend just this weekend who's been struggling with some things in life because of business and loss of relationship and different things. And, you know, it's all about perspective. Sometimes it's easy to get distracted by the things that just don't really matter as much. But we really do have the ability and the capability as humans to alter our perspective and to focus in on what really matters. And at the end of the day, it's people and what we can do to help them. So that's my little bit of exhortation. I didn't have this planned at all. This came out of nowhere. But go out, figure out in your job, in your family, in your marriage, with your children, whoever it is, how can you help people today? Spread some love, right? Spread some encouragement, spread some joy. Well, this market is definitely encouraging at the moment. As you know, if you were paying attention this last weekend, starting on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, it was rough. Market dropped 10%. Bitcoin was down significantly. The rest of the market, we saw negative 20% across the board. But we are coming back already. Why might this be happening? Well, let's talk about that for just a little bit here. $240 million worth of shorts were liquidated as Bitcoin stages the sudden comeback. According to data provided by Bybit, 239.52 million worth of short positions. By the way, it's very dangerous to short Bitcoin in a bull market. But you know, there's always those people out there that think they're smarter. And in fact, I have an example of this. I want to read this to you. This was just something I found. One trader, Sugar Trader, I think he called himself or something, who fell into this trap, this short trap, describing what he did and how it happened. He said, when Bitcoin broke 47K, I shorted the living blank out of it, expecting it to fall to the low 40s. And I remember, yes, when it did drop to 47K, there was a number of people out there, you know, on the Twitter sphere and whatever, social saying, yeah, we're going to 40, right? So expecting it to fall to the low 40s, only to see it do a full reversal, flying past all the weak resistance. Hello, big losses. Sigh. Yeah. It hurts. It hurts for Sugar Trader. It is oversold, but a substantial amount of alts have shifted up, and that might be enough compensation for the overselling. There is still a death cross that BTC could potentially hit, but it is less likely now. I've a feeling that alt season is on the cusp of starting, or BTC will go down to that low 40s, causing a mess. Everyone is over leveraged at the moment. I pulled almost the lot off and will lick my wounds. It's a case of me trying to be too clever, but actually being not clever enough. Hope you did better out than me. One good thing to see is Uni eventually on that road to the high 70s, which has been promised for a while now. So this is what happens. The bears accounted for a whopping 91% of all liquidations recorded during the above mentioned time period. 91% of the bears who were shorting. So what could be happening here is, you know, are we going to call it market manipulation? It's market. It's a market, right? So the whales, some of the whales, they can play games if they want to, if they're big enough, and they can dump, and they can force these liquidations of the leveraged positions, whether people are bears and shorting the market or longs, you name it, they're able to do it. And so this is something that could be happening, that could be going on. And there's one example of it from going back to the market, though. We are now up 9.2% on the total market cap, back over the $2 trillion mark. We did drop below $2 trillion for just a little bit. Gas prices are at the lowest we have seen in a very, very long time. We're talking 49 GWAYB for standard. You need to do some Ethereum transactions. This is the time to do it. You want to go jump on Uniswap and pick something up? If these gas prices hold, even 39 GWAYB is safe. So very interesting. Bitcoin's dominance continues to trend downward. It is 48.4% according to CoinGecko. It's probably a little higher on CoinMarketCap. Notice there's always a bit of a divergence there. Ethereum is at 14.1% of the total market cap. So it continues to rise. Bitcoin currently trading at 53,595.03. We continue to see the imprimatur of Bitcoin increase. However, Bitcoin does not need the imprimatur of the established financial sector or of government. Let's talk about that for just a moment. But before we do, let's look at the word imprimatur, which is our word of the day. Imprimatur. 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 What does it mean? It has two meanings. Number one is an official license to print or publish a book, pamphlet, etc., especially a license issued by a censor of the Roman Catholic Church. So this is sort of the historical background information. But imprimatur also means sanction or approval or support. An example would be our plan has the company president's imprimatur. But we are starting to see the sanction, the approval, and the support for crypto in many different places. Places we before would not have necessarily expected. As critic after critic after critic and sector after sector after sector, resistance falls. And we'll see more stories about that even today. Okay, going back to the market, let's just take a look quickly at prices and see where we sit. Ethereum up 10% in the last 24 hours. It is now $2,524.18. Go Ethereum. Go, go, go. Binance also up 8.3%, currently $542.99. XRP up 15% to $1.22. We are just seeing, this is beautiful. It's just green, green, green. Cardano up 10.7% to $1.24. Dogecoin down 1.5%. Doge struggling to see any action. It's still incredible, though, that it's at 26 cents and held. So that's good for all the Doge people out there who are not getting burned yet. Good. Polkadot, 9.9% up, $33.06. Uniswap, up 8% to $36.11. Litecoin rounding up the top 10 at number 10, up 8%, $244.86. Excuse me for a moment while I take a sip from my Pero. That's spelled P-E-R-O. For all the new listeners out there who haven't heard me talk about Pero before, it is absolutely delicious. It's unbelievable. It blows my mind. I have been a coffee addict. Oh, goodness. We must be going on close to 20 years almost now. First started when I was working on my master's degree. staying up all night, writing papers, doing research. Prior to that, I thought coffee tastes like dirt. Anyway, I became this hardcore coffee addict like so many others. Got to the point where I just, I could survive without it. I could get up in the morning and do what I needed to do, but why would I want to do that? Because coffee's amazing, right? However, it started to cause me a little bit of trouble of late. I think the amount of caffeine would give me a little bit of stomach issues, whatever. So finally, I was like, if there's any alternative out there, and I found this product called Pero, and it's a barley. It's made of a couple of other just like natural things. I should bring it and read the actual details sometime, but it is delicious. Causes me no trouble. So I add a little bit of butter, a little bit of cream, make myself a bulletproof. So good. You know what? I need one more sip. Hold tight for a sec. Oh, yeah. Especially early in the morning. It's 6:39, Monday, April 26th. Sitting here recording this episode in Ontario, Oregon for you guys. And it's not cold, but a little bit rainy. Just one of those, it's one of those moments where everything just kind of aligns properly. Have you noticed that with like food or drink? I remember one time I was traveling through LA. I think I was on the 5 freeway and I saw what's the name of the sandwich restaurant? It wasn't Earl of Sandwich. Another one, like Mike's or something. Anyway, I was like, I'm hungry. I'm going to stop. So I pull off the road and I go to this place and they have this Chipotle. It's a hot sandwich and it's got meat and all this stuff and like peppers or something. Like, okay, so I sit down and I eat this thing and it's just like, wow, it's good. I mean, it's just one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. It's just phenomenal. And I'm sitting there by myself and the weather's just right. And there's this gentle breeze and I'm watching the cars pass by on the freeway and the sun, everything just in the universe aligned in that moment. And it was just like surreal and awesome and so good. And then, I remember a couple of weeks had passed and I was driving by that same spot and I was like, I need that again. So I pull off the freeway. I go to the store. I grab the sandwich. I sit in the same spot. I mean, I'm trying to recreate the same experience, right? Not even close. Sandwich doesn't taste as good. The weather isn't the same. The sun's not in the same spot. It wasn't even close. And I'm like, wow. There's just something subjective, even with food. I mean, I'm guessing that objectively speaking, there probably wasn't that much difference in that sandwich, but it just did not. And this morning, it's like the same kind of thing going on right now with this Pero as I drink it. And as I sit here talking to you guys, life is good, right? Enjoy those moments. Anyway, maybe you've experienced what I'm talking about. Maybe you haven't. It can be disappointing, though, when you go back for that second time experience and it's just not like it was. Well, that's life, right? All right, moving on. Bitcoin Cash is up 7.7% to $831.69. Chainlink is up 9.9% to $35. VeChain is up 5.2% to 19 cents. And Solana is up 8.3%. Let's talk about these for a second here. Two very good projects. Solana did surpass VeChain in terms of market cap for a little bit. Solana is going to be our coin highlight of the day. I've been talking about it for a bit now. It's an incredible project, super solid, really high transaction speeds, more and more projects coming onto the platform. It's a competitor of Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum, all the smart contract dApp platforms, and it's a good one. Theta network is up 19.3%, seeing a nice boost. Though, as I've mentioned before, my guess with Theta is that it sort of has, Theta and Filecoin would both be the same. They've sort of had their run for the time being. And that not to say they won't move with the market, but I don't think we're going to see the crazy pumps that we did Solana's still doing that, up 41% on the week. I would not be surprised if we see Solana hit the top 10 at some point in the future, which would be great. All right, moving on. Here's some analysis from Raul Paul, who says Bitcoin looks as much oversold as in March 2020. Here's what it means. Bitcoin has regained the $53,000 level after plunging to $47,250 earlier today. Yeah, and it's funny. Anytime you see that type of a drop, the naysayers come back out again and like, oh yeah, I hope you're warning people about the dangers of investing in crypto. Okay, let's stop talking about that for a second here. Yes, cryptocurrency is volatile. Yes, cryptocurrency is nascent. It's a new space. Yes, anytime you invest in cryptocurrency, you should be willing, ready, and fully knowledgeable about the fact that it could plummet significantly. You could lose, especially, listen, when you're coming in to a market that is at an all-time high, which is pretty much what we're seeing right now. Just go look at the Bitcoin chart or any crypto chart, and you're going to see we've had a massive, huge run-up and spike. Now, normally, if we were looking at a chart of housing, the median housing price, which is also in a similar spike again right now, or any other well-established market, equities on the stock market, companies that are being sold on the stock market, it would be unwise to buy at the all-time high. Obviously, simple strategy, buy low, sell high. So we have to keep that in mind with crypto. But here's the thing. We are also seeing an explosive expansion in the growth of the space and in the adoption of cryptocurrency. Massive growth, crazy growth, things happening that are not just like flash in the pan when you got Tesla adding crypto to its balance sheet, and they're not going to dump that. Or you got Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy, and you got Grayscale and the Trust, and you've got ETFs coming on board in Canada, and you got futures trading on the CME, and on it goes. And you got the big banks coming in, and now they're offering crypto products to their clients. And you've got this NFT boom, which we're going to talk about something else with that today. Got another story about NFTs that illustrates the value that is being built there. And you've got the DEXs coming on. You've got DeFi with these lending protocols and these centralized and decentralized platforms that are allowing people to throw their crypto up as collateral. And you've got Dogecoin, which is just bringing in people because of all the meme stuff and the celebrities and the Elon Musks of the world and Snoop Dogg, on and on it goes, right? And celebrity after celebrity, musicians and artists who are coming into the space and creating NFTs for their products. And I mean, we talk about this every single day. So the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is it's different. This is different. Crypto is still different. You can't analyze crypto the same way you would analyze the stock market or a well-established 100-year-old plus, industry or market, because it's new. And it's like revolutionary new, where new technology is coming on board, new use cases and new things that can be done all the time. I mean, we in 2017, no one had even thought of or heard the word. I don't know, maybe someone, but most people had definitely not heard of an NFT or even the concept of DeFi. There might have been few exceptions. Maybe Buterin or a couple other of the founders of Ethereum saw the potential of where the thing could go, but most people had no clue, no idea. And now everybody's talking about it. The real concern, the only real concern, the real threat to the cryptocurrency space is government regulation, and that's pretty much it. And that is a concern. It's a legitimate concern because governments don't like things that threaten their sovereignty. They want control. They want control over money. They don't like it. They don't like the idea, and then of course what will happen is there will be a couple of cases or not a couple of cases, but a few things will be used to try to shut it out in order to protect, right, the average person. I've talked about that before. So we could see something where it's like you have to be an accredited investor, meeting certain criteria in order to partake in the space, in order to buy crypto or trade or whatever, But here's the thing about all of that. The regulatory concern has become less and less and less and less with the explosive expansion of the space, with all the things I already spoke of, with institutional investors coming on board. Especially once, we haven't seen this yet, I don't believe. Actually, there maybe have been a couple stories. Once we see pension funds adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets, then it's over. They'll never regulate it away. I think it's over. That's over right now anyway. It's more about how do we ensure that we tax people, right? And that's what all the AML and the KYC is about. I mean, let's face it. That's no. They don't catch criminals that way. And we've gone through it before, and we've documented, as others have documented, that money laundering and terrorism funding and all of that happens through the traditional banks. And some of the biggest banks like HSBC, JP Morgan Chase are the biggest culprits in that world, having paid billions of dollars in fines, right? Not crypto. Anyway, moving on. Bitcoin is nearly as oversold as in March of 2020, according to Paul. Founder and CEO of global macro investor and Real Vision Group, Raoul Pal, has taken to Twitter to share his view on Bitcoin's current market position. He reckons that the global flagship cryptocurrency looks nearly oversold as much as back in March 2020 when Black Thursday took place, with Bitcoin plunging 50% in a day below 4,000. He tweeted that RSI is similar to the levels that it hit at the start of the rally in 2017 prior to Bitcoin's hitting cyberspace. Overall, Powell believes that these corrections are healthy since they refresh a bull market. Also, there's been a surging number of Bitcoin holders. In the meantime, the number of Bitcoin holding entities has soared to the third largest level in Bitcoin history, according to the Glassnode chart shared by Moskovsky Capital CIO. So good news there. Scam warning. There's an ongoing email scam campaign. Scammers are pretending to be PancakeSwap, promising a fake airdrop of 400 cake in order to steal people's funds. So if you get the email, mark it as spam and delete it. All right, moving on to the next segment. Binance. Binance is going to add the stocks of Apple, Microsoft, and MicroStrategy as tradable tokens. So we talked about this, I think, a week ago or so. Binance is innovative, and they're moving in it. They're doing some cool things. Regardless of how you feel about Binance, you've got to admit this is smart. What they're doing is they are tokenizing traditional stocks, and they are actually, through a third party, you will be buying the underlying asset. So this is not like a derivative or a synthetic. It is the actual stock, but tokenized so that you can trade it on the platform and you can purchase it, which is even cooler. Sweet that you can do this with crypto. I think this is going to be huge. And hopefully we'll see other exchanges follow suit. A few weeks after launching its latest product, tradable stock tokens, Binance has decided to expand the portfolio with the shares of MicroStrategy, Apple, and Microsoft. The 3 new additions will be live by the end of April. Rock and roll. All right, this story from Forbes. This is talking about NFTs, and the author, Alistair Johnson, touched on something that I hadn't thought of before, and it's a great use case, and I think it's just another example, another reason why the NFT concept is going to be huge moving forward. NFTs stand to revolutionize mainstream commerce is the title. Non-fungible tokens are all the rage right now, and justifiably so, since these digital tokens basically provide owners with certificates of authenticity relating to just about anything one can think of. From things like artwork, music, collectibles, to real estate, and even precious metals. To put it another way, NFTs can be viewed as digital files that make use of a blockchain platform for their distribution, and owing to the fact that they are totally unique and stored on a decentralized ledger, it is very easy to verify who their owner is. Since the emergence of this technology, individual retailers, businesses, celebrities, artists have been able to sell their offerings directly without the need for any intermediaries who typically control all distribution and promotion-related activities, in the process taking a huge cut of the total paycheck. But non-fungible tokens could also have some very interesting applications in more mainstream commerce. The way we do commerce right now is broken. Most people who have ever tried to buy a gift for their partner, friend, or family member have at some point had to get an item exchanged. They bought the wrong brand, size, model, whatever, for some reason or other. However, due to cases of return fraud rising over the past decade, proving ownership and sometimes even provenance, which just means origin of the item, is becoming increasingly more difficult for consumers. A recent study revealed that over the course of 2020, a whopping $25.3 billion was lost to return fraud, as a consequence of which a large number of retailers have become extremely stringent with their exchange policies, making the return process quite difficult. You know, this is funny. This reminds me. My ex-wife, just put it that way. My ex-wife used to go to the store and then used to come back home with 30 items laid out all over the bed. And then she'd come to me and she'd say, okay, which ones should I keep and which ones should I get rid of? And I'd always laugh and I'd be like, well, why did you buy stuff that you don't intend to keep? Well, because, I'm not sure. And I wanted to bring home and I wanted to get your opinion and your feedback. And it just always used to make me laugh because I'm like the exact opposite. I don't think I've ever returned. Like, I probably returned 2 or 3 things in my life. I just don't buy it unless I'm real certain it's what I want. Yeah. And, I don't know. I mean, I've even bought things that ended up not fitting right or whatever. I'm just like, whatever. I'll just give it away to somebody. I don't like to return. I don't like to spend the time. It's just a thing I don't do. And the story made me think about it. But this is a huge issue that companies and retailers are dealing with, where there's this return fraud that's going on, and NFTs can be a perfect solution to that. And that's what this author is pointing out. So they've made these returns more difficult, especially more tricky if one cannot produce a receipt for the item they are looking to replace, or if the purchase was made using someone else's debit card. Similarly, when it comes to dealing with the ownership sale of secondhand classic cars, watches, antiques, mobile phones, things start to become quite complicated. If you think about the deeds to a house or the ownership documents for a car, these documents were designed as a means of verifying ownership in a pre-blockchain world. Some of these are still paper-based documents. While they serve their purpose, they are often considered to be inefficient and create a reliance on a centralized entity to verify their authenticity. They can also be too easily forged these days. A properly designed NFT could be used to represent a physical car and subsequently its legal owner in the same way that an ownership document at the DMV does today. So enter NFTs and digital IDs to solve these problems. Using NFTs is becoming extremely easy. It is extremely easy to demonstrate ownership and provenance with an NFT, especially in any instance where ownership and possession of an asset are not inextricably intertwined. The technology enables users to obtain a complete breakdown of the supply chain history of the product they have purchased. Example, from brand, model, make, color, type, through to the factory where it was made, the worker who made it, who signed off on its quality checks, shipping and custom control checks, and even which warehouse it was shipped from and the courier that delivered it. The key part of the provenance of a physical object is associating a digital NFT and associated ID and information. So this can be done with tamper-proof labeling such as QR codes and NFC smart labels, which can be intrinsically linked to them. NFTs could also do wonders for secondary markets like eBay and other resale stores. By integrating the concept of NFTs with that of self-sovereign IDs, it can become possible to make the entire transaction life cycle of a product completely traceable with the touch of a button. It also becomes possible to prove that you are the authentic owner of a piece of artwork or a valuable antique when it is linked to your digital ID, enabling the transfer of ownership through purchase or gifting. In the example of artwork, NFTs typically contain a link to an internet address that displays a copy of the piece, but there is no easy way to establish whether the copy linked to the NFT is the authentic copy or whether that is a copy of the original. But by having the NFT linked to your digital ID or the artist's ID, you can prove that your copy is authentic and original in the unfortunate situation if the artwork is cloned. Yeah, this is huge. This is huge. Brandon and I, a number of weeks back on one of the interview episodes that I did with Brandon Franchuk, we're talking about this. And at the time, I couldn't piece together just exactly how, technically speaking, it was possible to prevent duplication of a digital piece of art, for instance, that had an NFT attached to it. And the issue still remains that in terms of just viewing that art, you could certainly do a screen capture or copy save, whatever. But this connection here between a digital ID, which is basically just an address in a wallet of the artist or the original owner, and then connecting that to an NFT, then you can trace the ownership. And just as we read through this article and everything else that goes along with it, who made it, where it was made, what color it was supposed to be, you can verify details about that physical object or digital object to ensure that it is the actual. This is huge. This is really, really actually very, very, very cool stuff. Article concludes with this: NFTs are here to stay. The NFT market has continued to grow at a staggering rate, with conservative estimates suggesting that this space has already grown by more than 1,700% since the start of 2021. So some of the leaders in this space, I would say currently at the moment, obviously Ethereum is the number one place, but Cardano and VeChain are both heavily emphasizing this aspect, this area, and working in this direction. I would expect to see a lot of movement on those chains. Of course, the other smart contract chains as well, Polkadot, Solana, you name it, they're all going to be providing this type of solutions. Solana. Speaking of Solana has been absolutely killing it of late. It is my coin highlight for the day. I'm not going to dive into it too deep just for the sake of time. We might do that at some other point in time. It is a fast, secure, and censorship-resistant blockchain, providing the open infrastructure required for global adoption. They already have a TPS transactions per second of over 50,000. It's one of the fastest chains out there. Total transactions now more than 16 billion. And you can just see they've got on their website, if you go to Solana.com, a real-time transaction tracker that's just fast. It's just blazing fast. The block time is 693 milliseconds, right? The average fee per transaction is 0.00005. Lots of things are happening on this platform. There's Serum, which is a DEX, and you can just look through for yourself, go do your own research. But there's a ton of projects launching on the Solana blockchain. It's built for speed, it's scalable, it's low cost, it's composable. All right, moving on. We're going to just wrap things up today with our crypto terminology. And we are now in the H's, I believe. So we're going to pick up from here. Sort of lost track of where I was at, and I didn't do it the last couple days. But here we go. We can't stay on track now. HODL, H-O-D-L. HODL is a type of passive investment strategy where you hold an investment for a long period of time, regardless of any changes in the price or markets. The term first became famous due to a typo made in a Bitcoin forum, and the term is now commonly expanded to stand for hold on for dear life. Most people who've been in this space for very long, who've at any given time tried to become a trader, have only recognized later on, when they did the analysis, that they would have actually done better had they just hodled. Obviously, there are going to be exceptions, people who are professional traders who do very well. But for the most part, for 90 something plus, high 90% of people, best strategy is dollar cost averaging. We call it DCA, where you're just putting money in, $100, $200, $1,000, whatever you can, on a regular basis, over time, every day or every week or every month. Pick a time, pick an amount, go in. Then what that does is that levels out your average cost for that asset, brings it down, and it's one of the most stable and best ways to invest, right? Easy too. And you can even automate that on a lot of platforms. Hacking is the process of using a computer to manipulate another computer or computer system in an unauthorized fashion. Hal Finney was a cryptographer and programmer who pioneered Bitcoin's development and worked with Satoshi Nakamoto. He was one of the original members of the cypherpunk news group, newsletter, or whatever you called it at that time, message board. Started to interact with Satoshi Nakamoto and was one of the few people that when Satoshi came along and said, hey guys, I've solved this problem, which they'd been trying to figure a way to make a digital currency for a long time, but kept running up against problem because it was always centralized, and someone would come close and then it would fail because it was centralized. But Hal listened to what Satoshi had to say and said, let me check it out. And so he started to do that, and he started to mine and other things. And you can read about that in numerous books that talk about the history of Bitcoin. Halving is an event in which the total rewards per confirmed block halves. Hard cap is the absolute maximum supply of a digital asset. Hard fork, a type of protocol change that validates all previously invalid transactions and invalidates all previously valid transactions. Hardware security module. A hardware security module is a type of computing device that secures digital keys and encrypts data. A hardware wallet. A hardware wallet is a wallet for cryptocurrencies that usually resembles a USB stick. Hash. The act of performing a hash function on input data of arbitrary size with an output of fixed length that looks random and from which no data can be recovered without a cipher. An important property of a hash is that the output of hashing a particular document will always be the same when using the same algorithm. Hash function, any function used to map data of arbitrary size to data of a fixed size. See cryptographic hash function. Hash power, hash rate, a unit of measurement for the amount of computing power being consumed by the network to continuously operate. Hidden cap. Hidden cap is an unknown limit to the amount of money a team elects to receive from investors in its initial coin offering, or ICO. The purpose of a hidden cap is to even the playing field by letting smaller investors put in money without the large investors forming an accurate understanding of the total cap and adjusting their investment as a result. Hierarchical Deterministic Wallet, or HD Wallet. A wallet that uses hierarchical deterministic HD protocol to support the generation of crypto wallets from a single master seed using 12 mnemonic phrases. See deterministic wallet. Hosted wallet, a wallet managed by a third-party service. Not generally a good idea. Hot storage, the online storage of private keys, allowing for quicker access to cryptocurrencies. Hot wallet, a cryptocurrency wallet that is connected to the internet for hot storage of crypto assets, as opposed to an offline cold wallet with cold storage. Howey test. The Howey test, a test used to determine whether or not an asset is a security. Hybrid, proof of work, proof of stake. A hybrid POW/POS system allows for both proof of stake and proof of work as consensus distribution algorithms on the network. This approach aims to bring together the security of proof of work consensus and the governance and energy efficiency of proof of stake. Hyperledger Foundation. Hyperledger is an umbrella project of open source blockchains and blockchain related tools started by the Linux Foundation in 2015 to support the collaborative development of blockchain based distributed ledgers. All right, friends. Well, that is a wrap for today. As always, I appreciate you being with me and taking the time to learn a little bit more about crypto and follow the news of the day. I hope that this turns out to be a great week. I'm looking forward to it myself. This is a good way to start. Instead of a manic Monday, we've got this great market moving upward in the right direction to give us a little bit of a boost and keep us pumped up and excited. Remember, as I was mentioning earlier today, think about who you can help today. Maybe just a kind word even. Let's just go out there and make the world a little bit better place, right? Appreciate you all. Love you all. Look forward to talking with you tomorrow. Have a great day. And remember, it's always a great time to stack and to earn more crypto. Catch you soon. Bye.